Hi friends, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to talk about the best dramione fanfictions that are around 75 to 80,000 words. You may be asking why such a random number, and honestly there's no other explanation except that it's been my favorite length to read when it comes to dramione fanfiction. 75 to 80,000 words has always been such a sweet spot to me because I think it gives author enough space to let their plot thicken, to give us like a full complete character arc, but at the same time it feels less of a commitment to make for someone who gets bored very easily like me. So here are all of my favorite dramione fanfictions in the range of 75 to 80,000 words. These are very high quality work that I would recommend all day every day regardless of trope or length or era. So let's get the video started, shall we? First of all, of course, we are going to have 39 by Neofor, and I have said it so many times on my videos before that if I can give tie, 39 would take the #1 spot in my all-time favorite dramione alongside the Dragonfly Pride Rizzo. So you guys know the impact of 39 on my life already, okay? This is a post-war story where Death Eaters and Death Eaters empathizer are entered into a program where they are obliviated, their memories are taken away from them and get replaced with that of a Mokko, and then they are released into the Mokko War. Each of these programmee here get assigned a caseworker to monitor their progress in the Mokko War, and of course our boy Draco is a programmee here, and his caseworker is no other than Hermione Granger. Honestly, this work just allow me to experience every emotion that is known to man. I laughed out loud like the first time I was reading this story right off the bat on the first chapter, but this is also the first dramione story that gave me that heartstring pain. Like if you're feeling like your heart is breaking in half while you read a piece of work, that's the story that I also get with 39 by Neofor. Everything about this story is top notch. The writing, the characterization, the plot just had a perfect balance of everything, and I wouldn't change a thing about 39 by Neofor. Particularly love the characterization of Draco in this story. We have a super snarky Draco, so there will be a lot of banter between Draco and Hermione. He is super witty, he is super smart, but at the same time he is super observant, very caring, and very genuinely love Hermione. But the Hermione that we have in 39 is probably my favorite Hermione of all time in all of the dramione fanfiction. She is super logical, she's strong-headed, she's our Hermione still, but at the same time she has that softer edges to her, make her so lovable, so relatable, and I love her so much in this story. I feel like there isn't enough word for me to use to praise 39 by Neofor, and it is also one of the masterpieces that is just beyond me. So I would say that this is a very unique and very remarkable work that will forever stay in my heart. I feel like 39 is among the most underrated dramione fanfiction ever, okay? If you haven't read 39 yet, please go ahead and do me a favor, exit out my video, go read it right now. Next we have To Brew a Scandal by Stars in Motion, and this is one of the work that I just read last year. This is an alternative universe story set in the Victorian time where Draco and Hermione encounter each other during their childhood and then lost contact and then see each other again later on in their life. I'm doing a very bad job at summarizing this story because this is also one of the pieces that I feel like is beyond me. I feel like this is a true romance story with so many layers, so multi-dimensional that you just gotta read and experience it for yourself. The writing of this story is just top tier, and the up and down of this story and how the story unfolds will just keep you turning the page. I love everything about this story, especially the characterization of Draco and Hermione. Aside from Draco and Hermione, we have some very lovable, very remarkable side characters in this as well, including Hermione parents and Crookshanks. So if you are a fan of Crookshanks, please go ahead and read this story because you will have the time of your life, okay? Of course, like I have mentioned, every work that I will be mentioning in this video will be of the highest quality when it comes to dramione fanfiction, but this work in particular, To Brew a Scandal by Star in Motion, will be one that I am 100% confident that I will introduce to someone who is new to dramione or even fanfiction in general, because this will be such a great hook for those people to get introduced into the dramione or even the fanfiction war, and I'm confident that they will stay. This is one of the stories that I have such a good time reading, such a good time feeling. We all had a good time reading Manako, but we didn't have a good time feeling that story. The whole experience is just wholesome, and so I would love you guys to have the same experience as well. So go ahead and read this story, okay? The next story we have here is Shadow of Ourselves by Ink Fairy. This is a wartime story where Draco is a spy for the other, and you may think, what's unique about this? We have seen like 100 stories about this before, but no, okay? He's the spy for the Order when he approached the Order with a request for Hermione's hand per the Dark Lord asked of him. and Hermione surprisingly agreed with that. So together they hope to take down the Voldemort regime together. If you are into a power couple story, this is gonna be perfect for you. And I don't know why this story is not talked about enough. This is also a piece that is beyond me as well. I know I've said this about all the story that I have been recommending in this video, but the storyline, the plot, the writing, the character growth of this story is just so unique, and it's in the league of its own. Okay, if you have the time to check out this story, you guys will see that all the chapter name and also an intro into the chapters are also around chess playing. What I love about this story is, aside from the quality, we get to see such a realistic development between Draco and Hermione. They came to each other for a purpose, just a relationship of convenience, but at the same time we see how they genuinely grow on each other, care for each other, and love each other. And so this piece is also one that gives me many emotions, but give me such a good time reading it. Read this story if you are into that wartime power couple Hermione stuff. Okay, next we have Simply Irresistible by Bookworm 1993, and this is a story where Draco gives Hermione a makeover to revenge Ron, her ex-boyfriend, for cheating on her. Now you guys may have seen Simply Irresistible plastered all over my Hermione favorite videos before, so you guys already know that I'm quite biased when it comes to this story. But we have a true rom-com Hermione story here with an ensemble of supporting cast, and the more I read Hermione, the more I'm appreciative of story where there is a big cast, but the author did a very good job introducing all the characters with full of flavor, full of color. The author, Bookworm 1993, had done such an amazing job with Simply Irresistible that I feel like I was breaking up with my friend group after I finished reading the story, because I don't get to see those friends anymore. After hearing all of that plot, you may think that this story is one-dimensional. I can assure you that it is so far from the word one-dimensional. It is so multi-dimensional, and the relationship development between Draco and Hermione has so much depth into it, and the author allows us to see glimpses of their past interaction as well, and give us that full storyline on how much they care and genuinely love each other. My heart is so soft for them. This is one of the stories that I will always come back to because it makes me feel very good, and I know that it will never fail in giving me such a mood booster. So if you guys are a little bit moody and you guys need some pick me up real quick, this story is for you. Next, we have Apple Pies and Other Amends by To Eat a Peach, and this author is also among my favorite Hermione author of all time. Here we have another fluffy post-war story where Hermione started her PTSD baking tour, where she bakes for everyone that she knows in the Wizarding World who went through the war, and that includes friends and enemies. So of course one of the stuff that she has to make is Malfoy Manor, and that's how the relationship got sparked and Hermione and Draco grew closer together. I would say that this is on the lighter side when it comes to post-war story, but I love that the author didn't just gloss over the trauma that Draco and Hermione and every other child soldier went through in the Harry Potter war. I'm a chicken reader, you guys, so I would stray away from like darker theme, PTSD, post-war trauma and all that. I feel it will be unrealistic if we do not mention any of the trauma at all, but I also don't really want to get into the dark stuff, so this is like the perfect sweet spot again for me to read. Of course, you guys don't have to worry about the writing or the characterization or the plot of this story because you guys know that it's already top tier, but this story is also one of the stories that include a lot of the Hogwarts characters. So if you guys want to read kind of like an extension of the Harry Potter book, I feel like this will be a great story as well. Reading this story feels like having a warm blanket on a cozy winter morning. It makes you feel so good that you don't ever want to leave this story, and I would make sure that you are full when you read this story because all of the description of the delicious dessert and food in this story will just make you hungry. Okay, next we have Static by Galfoy, and Galfoy is my favorite Hermione author. I will never stop saying that. We have a wartime story here, and the author has just rescued Lucius and Draco Malfoy, father and son both. They wanted to put them together with Hermione in a safe house for everyone's safety. So how they navigate through that shared sticky living situation is how the story opened up for us. This is one of my favorite Hermione story with the forced proximity trope because we get another variable introduced into the story who is Lucius Malfoy of all the variable, okay? And I feel like you guys may read Statics by Galfoy and think that the writing or the plotline isn't as grand as the other story that I mentioned in this video, but for some reason it just hit me a little bit different. Like it just stirs so many emotion in me, and to me like the development between Draco and Hermione is super realistic but also super tender in this as well. And I particularly love the character arc of both Lucius and Draco. Like they realistically went through the stages of changes in their character. I think that if you have read Static before, you may agree with me that Static is just very fanfiction. It just has so many fanfiction elements that I love. I don't know if that's the reason why Gafor has become my favorite dramione fanfiction author or not, but I will never stop recommending her story. So if you guys need a quick fix me wartime story with forced proximity, I feel like this is gonna be perfect for you. Next, we have 10 out of 10 by Morgan Mercy, and in short, this is a marriage law story, and marriage law is my favorite dramione fanfiction trope to read. I read so many marriage law stories that I was able to do a whole video recommending the best marriage law story, and I say all that to say that I had the experience with reading marriage law story, and this is one of the best, if not the best, marriage law story that I have ever read. I really like the progression of their relationship in this story because I feel like it fits their situation very well. You are in a married law story. If you are looking for a relationship development between Draco and Hermione that is more on the realistic side, you will have such a good time with this story. Now, what I love about this story is, aside from the writing, which is super good, the plot, which is super good, the characterization, which is super good as well, aside from all that goodness, what I really love about this story is the attention to small details that the author introduced into this story. There are many significant details that wouldn't have mean anything if you didn't read this story, but if you have read this story, then it will mean like the world to you. It's kind of like the inside joke. All of those kind of small details is just perfect and speak very loud of Draco and Hermione relationship. And like I said, it is the best Dramione marriage law story that I have ever read. So if you guys are looking for a marriage law story, I would say start with 10 out of 10 by Morgan Mercy. Last, it's a story I don't know if I should be recommending because I didn't have a good time feeling after I read this story, okay? And it is The Ghost of You by Worthless Writer. To sum up this story for you guys, this is also one of the stories that you just have to go out there, read it and experience it for yourself. And the only thing I would say about this story is that I ignore so many blaring signs, so many blaring warnings. I even ignored the title itself, which is The Ghost of You, and went into this story and realized that something is wrong halfway through the story. But at that point, my heart was already broken. And I gave the story a 4.5 stars, not because it wasn't perfect by any means, because it was perfect and it was such a good quality piece of fiction, but I didn't have a good time feeling after reading it, okay? If you're into angsty story and if you want to get into it right now, I feel like this is gonna be a perfect story for you to start. And that concludes my video. Those are my favorite dramatic fanfiction when it comes to the 75 to 80,000 word length, but at the same time, they are just ultra high quality piece of dramatic work that I would recommend any day. So if you guys are in need of some new dramatic read right now, I hope that this video has helped you. Hope that you have a good time hanging out with me today. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.